Okay, so I'm on the internet. Just go into my comment well, the comment that I had the request of the tag. It has here, can finally hear you, would you do the get to know you tag again? Couldn't hear you the first time. I'm guessing by get to know you, they mean the know your needle worker. The actual person is JellyPepper5353. It's a nice username. But yeah, that'll be the tag I'm gonna redo. If there's any others, as I've put in my reply to them, just send them my way. Stick them in one of the comment sections. Right, here we go. Where do you live? I live in Inverkeithing. It's a royal borough in the Kingdom of Fife, which is in Scotland, and it's just across the water from the capital city, Edinburgh. What do you do for a living? I volunteer at the local community garden. I am also the gatekeeper though. Do you have any children? No. Do you have any pets? No. We used to have a cat, but she died in the early 2000s. What are your other hobbies besides stitching? I play a lot of video games. Particularly sort of old school ones via emulators. I also beta test a few Sonic the Hedgehog ROM hacks for a fellow member of the Sonic hacking community. What is your favourite movie? I would have to say Labyrinth. It's been my favourite movie since it came out in '86. Granted, I was 4 at the time, but it's my favourite movie. What is your favourite TV show? I don't really have one, but the one I've been more interested in watching recently is Death in Paradise. Granted, it's been like reruns or who knows how long, but it's an interesting series. What is your favourite book? That would be Why the Whales Came by Michael Morpurgo. What is your favourite music? Old school, chill out, ambient, house. Sometimes I don't mind the sort of hardcore, as it's known. I like mixture as long as it's not classical, because that literally puts me to sleep. Used to annoy my teachers at school. What one word best describes you? According to Poem Mystery Dungeon, I have a calm nature. So yes, calm. Hopefully that helps with the whole get to know you thing. Is that actually there's other tags here to do with Flosstube. What else do we have? Dream World, chaotic, fun. Okay, there's only 3 questions here from the looks of it. This is by fellow well, I say fellow Flosstuber. I've got a playlist dedicated to Flosstube, but this one's by Stitcher Moose. Question 1, do you have some favourite holiday or other traditions? Not really. 2, what is the origin of your YouTube channel name? Which one are they wanting to know about? Okay, back in 2006 I originally had a channel under my standard internet name CosmoF. That comes from a dark jow I once had from when Sonic Adventure 2 Battle was released in the UK. I actually closed that account out of boredom, but early days of YouTube there wasn't really much to watch. That actually, got my interest. Then a year later I started an account under the name FlickyF, which was named after Cosmo's one offspring, whom I lost during a transfer between the Tiny Child Garden of Sonic Advance and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle's Neutral Garden, because Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, the GameCube refused to read it at one point. I then had, along with that I actually had another account as Sassy Cosmo, because at one point I felt like doing LPs. But that went. Sassy Cosmo comes from one of the old neighbours used to say I had a sassy personality. I'd don't see how. And again, Cosmo from the Dark Chow. Nowadays, it's just my name. So yeah, that's the origins of my, which comes from my, well, not necessarily my emails, but it's what's written for my emails. My actual emails are Cosmo F and Sassy Cosmo respectively. Besides music, what else do you listen to? I suppose in a sense, well, I don't know if you can really say it's audiobooks, because they give examples here of podcasts, radios, and audiobooks. Is that every so many months, one of Mum's old co-workers from the Scottish Braille Press sends me a couple of magazines that blind community reads, or so to say, listens to. Some read it, like you get Braille formats, large print and everything, but I get the audio Daisy CD format. One of them being Playback Magazine. The other one used to be Scottish Memories, but that got stopped, and I've forgotten the name of the one it got replaced with. But I enjoyed it. Fun little tag by Trisha the Left-Handed Stitcher. That's the one that also did the Know Your Needle work. The Know Your Needle worker one. 1. How do you arrange the floss you're using on a project? I used to just keep the skeins of floss with their little number tab on them in a big bag. But, not long ago I did the whole put them on homemade bobbins, because I got fed of them tangling up with each other and unravelling. But for the actual working with them, I put them on their own colour. Colour specific thread sort of cards. It's the ones where you have a bit of card or paper or whatever and you punch holes in it. And also, I take other card and just cut it into sort of lengths. It's about the size of your hand from the back to the front, and they get folded over for just individuals. it just gets sorted into smaller and smaller little thread holder type things. Have you attempted to dye fabric? No. If not, is there any particular method you want to try? Not really. If you use a needle threader, no I do not, I'm a floss licker. If you use any type of frame to stitch, do you stitch with the fabric over the frame or in the well? When I first got my bar frames, which I believe in America is known as stretcher frames, I did attempt to do the in the well, which is basically you have the actual bars facing you, not the fabric. But I didn't like that too much. It kept causing the fabric to come loose, so I swapped it the way I normally have it, in which the fabric faces you as opposed to bars or hoops. Do you start your threads at the front or back of projects? I start at the back. What methods do you use? I tie a wee knot at the end of the thread the needle. If you're a gridder, no, I attempted it, hated it. That's why I stopped one of my projects. What is your favourite way or ways to finish projects? Cut a border around them, especially if it's on plastic. What was your first cross-stitching milestone? I can't think really. I wouldn't really call anything a milestone personally. Or at least not of what I've done anyway. What is a cross-stitching goal you have or something you want to conquer? I'd love to be able to see what I am doing. And by that I mean know what colours I'm actually using. What is your silliest stitch moment? Not being able to tell what colours are what and mistaking half them for each other. If you use paper charts, do you print them at home or use a service? I print them at home on blue paper, and I make sure they You know, depending on what sort of chart I got, hopefully it's a big enough view, even if I have to like zoom in sort of thing. How do you mark your paper charts? I do not mark paper charts because it's symbols on colour that I use. Sometimes colour blocks. Is there a cross-stitch book you suggest? Not necessarily a book, but if anyone can get a hold of it, Needlecraft Magic. That was the fortnightly magazine my mum used to collect. And that's where the recent projects like the treasure box and the back-stitched sort of pincushion black work thing came from. Is there anything you find that you're very nitpicky about when you cross-stitch? Making sure I use the right colours. Favourite LNS you've visited on a trip, if you've been to one? Well, needlework store. When I was on holiday once, I went to, I don't know if it was, I think it was a needlework store. It had things like knitting stuff and cross-stitch threads and everything. But that's where I bought all my first batch of threads. Needle. Is there anything that you do feels take up a lot of time when you cross-stitch, but it's worth it in the end? Takes up a lot of time. Trying to work out what I'm doing. What I'm looking at. So that was the end of those questions. What's this one? Organise your stitching. How do you organise magazines? They sit in the drawer under my bed. They're from 1998. They're pretty old. How do you organise kits? They're in a bag that's in my big bag I keep all my cross-stitch stuff in. How do you organise digital patterns? They get saved on my computer. In a folder. How do you organise books? Don't have any, really. What do you keep with your whips? What? I don't get that. What do they mean keep with your work in progresses? Is it as in like what sort of things you store with them or that? Because if so, then it'd be the threads, my pair of scissors, my needles. Yeah. How do you store whips when not in use? In a small pharmacy bag that was used to carry some of my epilepsy medication when I originally got it. The bag that is, not the epilepsy medication. Where do you store finish objects before they become FFOs? I don't actually have FFOs because the only ones I actually had, well, technically there's one or two that I have, but they're in a frame in the living room. But everything else went to stalls for the community garden. But in general, for finished objects, they also get stored in a plastic bag. Resealable plastic bag. Do you have any tips for organising your cross-stitch? No, because I'm not exactly organised. And we have another KosStitcher's. Let's see what do we have here. Oh, this one's a lot about FFOs. Well, there's 3 questions. Meh. Okay, we have one here. I don't know if it's anything to do with cross-stitch. Oh, it might do, because it's mentioned about stitching. So, it's something to do with dreams. I've forgotten what it's called. There's a lot of help in it. But yeah, it's to do with dreams. 1. If you could cross-stitch in any place in the world, where would it be? I don't know, to be honest. Dreamworld Tag, this one's called. But I'm not too sure where I'd actually go to cross-stitch. 2. What is your most interesting dream while sleeping or awake? I don't really remember much from the sleeping ones, but that tends to be a tradition, because it's subconscious. And awake, I wouldn't necessarily, it's necessarily say it's a dream. I'd just say it's like my brain cells switching off a lot from brain damage. And I just kind of go in a world of my own. Thinking about stuff. Random things that I'd rather not disclose because, you know, brain damage just makes me like weird and talk to myself, who knows what. If you could design your own planet, what would it look like? Like, for example, which element of Earth would you take with you? Like animals and plant lives. I'd take the standard natural elements that people need to survive, like oxygen, hydrogen, etc. A variety of animals from around the world, so you can get a nice diversity. Plant life, again, variety from around the world.